Imagine a world where the dead don't always stay dead. In Norse mythology, these beings are called draugar. Draugar are not peaceful spirits. They are undead creatures who guard their graves with fierce aggression. They are filled with rage and a hunger for the living. These creatures are a chilling reminder that death didn't always mean peace for the Vikings. The living feared the potential wrath of a vengeful spirit. In today's episode, we will look into the legendary Norse entity of the undead, the terrifying Draugr. Draugr are easily identified by their gruesome appearance. They often appear bloated and swollen, their bodies filled with the corruption of the grave. Their skin might be blackened and decayed, a stark contrast to the rosy hues of living men. But their most terrifying feature is their strength. These creatures possess superhuman power. They can crush bones and tear flesh with ease. A Draugr's presence is often announced by a foul stench, a warning of the horror that awaits. One of the most famous Draugr is Glámr, from the Icelandic Grettis saga. Glámr was a shepherd known for his immense strength and bad temper. After a fatal encounter with another man, Glámr was buried. But his story didn't end there. He returned as a Draugr, terrorizing the locals. Glámr's reign of fear only ended when the hero Grettir Asmundarson challenged and defeated him in a brutal fight. This tale highlights the very real danger that Draugr posed, even to the bravest heroes. Why did some of the dead become these terrifying monsters? The Norse believed that a person's spirit could be restless after death. This was especially true if they died violently or were denied a proper burial. This unrest could manifest as a Draugr. The desire for revenge could also fuel a Draugr's rage. They might return to seek vengeance on their enemies. Essentially, a Draugr was the embodiment of unresolved issues and the lingering darkness in a soul. Rituals to ward off the undead. The fear of Draugr wasn't just a story. In Norse mythology, Draugr were the undead malevolent beings that could rise from their graves to haunt the living. These creatures were believed to possess immense strength and the ability to shapeshift, making them a terrifying presence in the minds of the Norse people. It was a real fear that permeated Norse society. The belief in Draugr was so strong that it influenced many aspects of daily life, from the way people built their homes to the rituals they performed to protect themselves and their loved ones. People took measures to prevent the dead from rising. These measures were not just about physical barriers, but also involved spiritual practices. The Norse believed that certain rituals could prevent a deceased person from becoming a Draugr. These rituals provide a glimpse into the anxieties of the Vikings. They reveal a society deeply concerned with the afterlife and the potential dangers that could arise from it. The rituals were a way to ensure peace for both the living and the dead. Bodies were often buried with their possessions. These items were believed to be useful in the afterlife, but they also served another purpose. By providing the dead with what they might need, the living hoped to appease them and prevent them from returning as Draugr. This act might appease the dead. The possessions included weapons, jewelry, and everyday items, all carefully placed to ensure the deceased had everything they needed in the afterlife. Graves were sometimes covered with heavy stones. This was a practical measure to physically prevent the dead from rising. The weight of the stones was believed to be enough to keep the Draugr trapped in their graves. This method was often used in conjunction with other rituals to ensure the dead remained at rest. Special runes might be carved on grave markers. These runes were believed to have magical properties that could protect the grave and its surroundings from evil spirits. The use of runes was a common practice in Norse culture, and their presence on grave markers was a testament to the importance of protecting the living from the dangers of the undead. Draugar beyond the sagas. While rooted in Norse mythology, the concept of draugar continues to fascinate us. These undead beings, often described as revenants or ghosts, are deeply embedded in the lore of the ancient Norse. They were believed to possess immense strength, the ability to shapeshift, and a thirst for vengeance. The Draugr were not just mindless zombies. They were complex entities with their own motives and desires. These creatures have transcended their ancient origins to become archetypes in modern storytelling. From the eerie tales of the Icelandic sagas to contemporary horror novels, draugar have evolved but retained their core essence. They symbolize the unknown and the terrifying, bridging the gap between the ancient and the modern. They represent our deepest fears about death and the potential for evil to linger beyond the grave. The draugar are a manifestation of our anxieties about what happens after death, and the possibility that malevolent forces can return to haunt the living. Their stories serve as cautionary tales, reminding us of the thin veil between life and death. From literature to video games, draugar have found new life in various forms. They appear in popular video games, where players must confront these fearsome foes, and in books that explore their dark and mysterious nature. The adaptability of the Draugr mythos allows it to be reinterpreted and reimagined across different media, keeping the legend alive. Their presence in modern media speaks to their enduring power as symbols of the undead. Whether on the big screen or in the pages of a novel, Draugr captivate audiences with their chilling presence. They are a testament to the timeless nature of myth and the human fascination with the supernatural. They continue to serve as potent reminders of the darkness that can reside within us all. The Draugr are not just relics of the past. They are reflections of our own fears and the darker aspects of human nature. As long as we are intrigued by the mysteries of life and death, the legend of the Draugr will endure. This concludes today's episode of the Paranormal Report. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. It is due to your continued viewership and support that we are able to bring you interesting and informative videos like this. The team here at the Paranormal Report really appreciates your support.